What's up everyone? This is James Harris, the creator of Holistic Gaming, and I'm back with another video for you guys today. And today we're doing another reaction video, or should I say an interesting reaction video by Mechanical V, if I'm saying their name correctly too when it comes to it that. And just really talking about with the topic of just cyberpunk, and especially with pop culture and with the entertainment industry. And just like really thinking like, what if Michael Jackson became very similar to Johnny Silverhand, if Michael Jackson became Johnny Silverhand? And it's really interesting too when it comes to with that, just talking about with these legendary names such as Michael Jackson, who is the king of pop, and Johnny Silverhand, who's a legend in the cyberpunk universe too. And just like how somewhat similar they are, but totally different at the same time. I can be totally wrong about this when it comes to just being both a fan of Michael Jackson and Johnny Silverhand. And, you know, shout out to Keanu Reeves when it comes to playing that character too, brought it to life. When it comes to his role in Cyberpunk too, just bringing that character to life, especially with Johnny Silverhand too, when it comes to it, that, and it's really cool. And also too, when it comes to with Michael Jackson, of course too, he's been a big fan of video games as well. And not just like with Tekken and all that, but also with Sonic, and he was in Ready to Rumble Round 2 as his own character and his voice, if you guys didn't know that too. And I have the original game too. I even might stream it one day too, just for the fun of it. You know, it'll be really cool if you guys want to see that. And it's just, when it comes to with that, just really like just when I first saw this video popped up in my feed, I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is really interesting when it comes to with that, because, you know, with Johnny Silverhand, who's a really like this rebel rock star too, and with Michael Jackson, who's somewhat of a rebel pop star. I mean, it's kind of similar but different at the same time. I could be totally wrong about this, but this topic alone, especially when it comes to with this video, really got my attention. So we're going to be listening to Mechanical V's perspective when it comes to this video. And if you guys want to see his channel too, when it comes to with this video too, you're more than welcome to check out his channel. We'll be linked in the title of this video. If you guys want to see the original video, we'll be linked in the description below when it comes to with that. So without further ado, when it comes to with that, shout out to Mechanical V when it comes to this video, because it really got my attention. This is really cool stuff. And yeah, let's get this party started. When it comes to that.
You know, Choom, if you really stop and think on it, Michael Jackson had every damn reason to turn into Johnny Silverhand. Reckon that sounds mighty crazy, don't it? Well, saddle up. We're fixing to get into it. Yeah?
Oh, that's interesting.
All right, y'all. Jakey here again. Who am I? Just a Choom who knows stuff that's all no one special. Been in Night City long enough to see gonks rise, fall, and get flatlined, but I'm no merc. No sir-ee. Don't got the chrome or stomach for that kind of life. Just here to earn, learn, and delta the hell out when the time is right. Alrighty, so with introductions out of the way, pull up a chair, grab yourself a drink, and keep your chrome plugged in. Because today, we're talking about one of the biggest legends to ever walk this planet. And no, before you start checking your scanners, you didn't click the wrong channel. We ain't talking about some Night City merc, nor about some chrome-plated solo with a bad attitude and a death wish. Nope. Today, we're talking about the one and only Michael Jackson.
The king of pop.
Now, I know what some of you gonks are thinking. Jakey, what in the hell does Michael Jackson have to do with cyberpunk? Well, funny you should ask. Because if you've spent any time in Night City, you already know the oldest story in the book. A talented gonk creates something incredible. The world loves it. Then, eventually, a corporation comes a-knocking. And that, my chooms, is where things get interesting. Because Michael Jackson wasn't just famous. Famous is what you call a guy with 1 million followers and a sponsored drink deal. Nah, MJ was something different.
This dude was a literal walking cultural icon. Literally, even before I was born too. Like with my mom, God bless her soul, she was really a Michael Jackson fan, and she knew people who worked with him as well. And it's really powerful stuff when it comes to with her, you know, growing up in the Black community in Santa Ana, and then like with her friends who are dancers because they're from the streets too. And it's just when it comes to Michael, like to connect with people who are, you know, from that culture and want to be in his videos too and work with them. So that's like how with my mom's friends who she grew up with too, she told me the stories about it with Michael Jackson, and it's just really cool stuff, especially back in the 80s too and the 70s and all that when it comes to it. That so yeah, it's really interesting. This, you know, this guy is, you know, and he still is a living icon. He's an icon. You know, God bless his soul. Rest in peace to Michael Jackson. You know, respect to him and his family too, and especially his kids as well when it comes to it. That. So I just really want to give credit where credit's due, and especially towards the King of Pop. He's one of my, you know, idols too in a ways too. Not just because of his music, but just from what he stands for. And I really embody that too. He's like an inspiration to me too. And when I was a kid, and still is now. And especially Keanu Reeves as well, and other people, Stan Lee, and you know, so like Michael Jackson, Keanu Reeves, and Stan Lee are like morally like my inspirations in life too. So just putting it out there for anyone who's listening.
That man was a worldwide event. And here's the real kicker. He hit that kind of legend status before social media ever crawled out of the gutter.
Yep,
back when there weren't no feeds to scroll, no algorithms, no endless stream of gonks fighting for eyeballs every 5 seconds. Didn't matter where you hailed from, different countries, different languages, different cultures. Soon as Michael stepped out on that stage, the whole damn planet knew. Poor gonks were passing out, crying, dry heaving, flatlining emotion.
When Michael was alive, when I was listening to like radio stations and even watching videos, and when it comes to with him, like literally grown women who are like my mom's age and my parents' age too, and my grandparents' age, they would just faint instantly. And that's like unreal. It's something that you never seen before. And probably eventually most people will see, probably in the next century. I don't know. I mean, if I'm still alive, that is too, when it comes to it, that. And it's just wild, like how Michael Jackson's influence and just his presence alone, and not trying to dick ride or anything. I'm just speaking from facts, from what I've seen too, from different videos and all that. Grown men and women too kind of turn to kids and they faint like that, and it's wild. It's like, what the hell? Like, how come one dude can really just have that kind of effect on people? And it's wild. And yeah, it's just, you know, when it comes to it, that let's continue.
Just hoping to catch a glimpse of the man. That ain't fame, Choom. That ain't popularity neither. That's the kind of rep that turns a regular flesh and blood human into a Night City legend. The kind of name folks remember long after the chrome rusts. And between you and me, I ain't convinced we'll ever see that again. World's different
Facts,
now.
Man, facts.
Back then, one person could become the biggest name on the whole damn earth. Nowadays, everybody's scrapping over 5 lousy seconds of attention before the next gonk with a camera bumps them clean out of the feed. The data streams move too damn fast. The noise never lets up. So tell me this, Choom. In a world where everybody's famous for a minute, can anybody ever become truly legendary again? A true global phenomenon that's gone freaking nova? Because like I said, now everybody's fighting for 5 seconds of attention before the next gonk with a camera replaces them. Now, a true icon? That's becoming rarer than a clean apartment in Night City. Michael Jackson was one of the last ones, the last true rock star. And speaking of rock stars, let's talk about Johnny Silverhand, because Johnny wasn't just some loudmouth rocker boy with a guitar and a superiority complex. Well, okay, he was definitely that too. But underneath all the ego, Johnny represented something. The artist fighting against the machine. The human being saying, you don't own me.
And that's pretty much what Johnny Silver. And even if you really just dissect Johnny's character and the way that he dresses with the aviator glasses and with the boots and the pants, it really resembles Michael Jackson in a lot of ways too. I'm not gonna lie, when I just first saw this character, I was like, wait a minute, why is he look so familiar? And it's just like, oh shit. I was like, he kind of does kind of remind me of Michael in the ways, but more, oh shit, more, I don't know what the words to, I can't say douchey, that'd be really disrespectful towards Johnny Silverhand and Michael, but but different when it comes to with that. And I'm really just being respectful too when it comes to with that. And Canonical V really just brings up a lot of good points here too when it comes to with what he's talking about in this video so far. And it's just when it comes to with that, even when I first saw this character in Cyberpunk, when it comes to Johnny Silverhand, it's just like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, this guy looks really... Am I tripping, or is it just me when it comes to that? Feel free to let me know in the comment section too, for those who are watching this live and watching the replay. When it comes to, I keep saying replay. For those who are watching the video, I'm sorry for that too. That's a brain fart on my part. I have a streamer brain sometimes. If I'm streaming, it's like watching this live and watching the replay. But I'm doing a reaction video, so yeah, my fault on that part too when it comes to that. But getting back to the topic at hand, when it comes to with like Michael Jackson and Johnny Silverhand, it's like they have really similar they have different personalities, but they have really similar goals when it comes to with just like rebelling against the corruption and with just really fighting for people too when it comes to it, that the ones that can't defend themselves. They really have similar goals when it comes to it that.
Okay, I'll tell you why I want to destroy Arasaka, but I'll only tell you once. Want to hear it? I saw a corpse strip farmers of water, and eventually of land. Saw them transform Night City into a machine fueled by people's crushed spirits, broken dreams, and empty pockets. Corps have long controlled our lives, taken lots, and now they're after our souls. V, I've declared war not because capitalism's a thorn in my side or out of nostalgia for an America gone by. This war's a people's war against a system that spiraled out of our control. It's a war against the forces of entropy. Understand? Do whatever it takes to stop them, defeat them, gut them. If I gotta kill, I'll kill.
And that's where the parallels with Michael Jackson start getting mighty interesting. Because Michael had every reason to become a real-world Johnny Silverhand.
Yeah.
Think about it. A world-famous artist, a man who changed entertainment forever, a creator whose work generated billions. And eventually he found himself locked in a battle with one of the biggest corporations in the game.
Whew. Oh.
Sony.
Oh my fucking god. I can't, I'm sorry to cuss YouTube. I know that's kind of against your guidelines, but I really got to get that off my chest when it comes to it. That it just really, like, for those who like the what ifs kind of scenarios, like imagine if like Michael Jackson became very similar to Johnny Silverhand. Whew. Dang. Ew. Whew. Now I just got some chills coming down my freaking spine with that. It's like, damn. And especially with Sony too. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I know that that name is kind of controversial in the gaming world right now too, when it comes to the things that are happening right now, when it comes to like with certain games and everything else too, which is I kind of talked about it before in a previous video with owning physical gaming media when it comes to it that. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Yeah, crazy stuff.
Now, I'm not saying Sony was literally Arasaka sitting in a skyscraper somewhere, feeding executives into a giant corpo machine. Calm down, chooms. Don't start throwing your keyboards. But the similarities, they're there. A powerful artist, a powerful corporation, a fight over ownership, a fight over control, a fight over who gets the final say. That's Cyberpunk 101. Michael had conflicts with Sony surrounding business dealings, his music catalog, and creative control. And during that very public feud, he famously called Sony Music chairman Tommy Mottola the devil.
And Tommy Mottola is a devil.
Yep, you said that. Heard the original.
Now, whether you look at that situation as a business dispute, a personal falling out, or two powerful forces clashing, you gotta admit, the symbolism right...
And Michael owned half of Sony too. That's the wild part about that with his catalog. He had like a whole yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Michael had a lot of influence when it comes to it, that because he's been in the music industry since he was 5 years old, and yeah, he's yeah. You guys know what else. You guys know when it comes to Michael Jackson's history with Sony, and like how he owned half of Sony too. When it comes to with his catalog, because he had like all the publishing rights to certain artists such as Eminem, Beyonce, Beatles, you name it. I'm not gonna put those names out there. I don't want to get sued or anything, but it's all the information's out there too if you want to search it up yourself. It's just when it comes to with the topic of this, reaction video and the video that we're reacting to, just like how like Michael Jackson had every right to really just become very similar to Johnny Silverhand, and imagine if he became very similar to him as well. Whew, damn. Oh man, just saying it, I can feel that within my nervous system. It's like, oh shit, that's some crazy shit right there too. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Itself, the artist versus the corporation, the creator versus the machine, the rocker boy versus Arasaka. Now here's where the story gets even more interesting, because I know Michael Jackson is one of those names where people immediately bring up the allegations surrounding him. And everybody has their own opinion. But if you look at the legal record, investigations, and the fact that certain cases did not result in convictions, it paints a more complicated picture than the simple headlines people often repeat. And that's part of why the Johnny Silverhand comparison works. Because Johnny lived in a world where corporations and media controlled the narrative.
Yep.
And Michael lived in a world where public perception could change overnight.
And in certain ways too, that's how we're living in today's society too, when it comes to that, with social media, especially Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, not Twitter, TikTok and X and all that, YouTube especially. Not say anything bad about social media, but it's just, it does have that kind of influence where it comes to with painting a narrative when it comes to certain things. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's totally true. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. It's just it's just like how things are nowadays too, when it comes to with that. So yeah, crazy times that we're living in too, especially.
The entire planet was watching. Every move, every headline, every rumor. That's a heavy burden for any human being. Now, speaking of Johnny Silverhand, we got to talk about the guy carrying him around. V.
Huh? Me?
Yep, you.
Yeah, you, man.
Who the hell?
Motherfucker.
Hold up. Jakey.
Ah, shoot. Wrong channel.
Wait, what?
My mistake, Choom. Gotta run.
Hey, hold on a damn second. You.
V. Shit.
Ah, that'll do.
Oh, that's good.
Gee,
That's good.
Jakey,
That's good.
you're getting sloppy. The heck went wrong there?
You fucked up.
That wasn't supposed to happen.
Oh, shit.
Dadgummit.
Hey, it happens, man. It happens.
Anywho, like I was saying, speaking of Johnny Silverhand, we gotta talk about V, the one carrying him around. Because these days, Chooms, you really can't mention Johnny without mentioning that chromed up freak of nature we know as V. That poor Choom woke up one morning and found out the biggest problem in their life wasn't an angry fixer or a bad gig. Nope. It was having a legendary rocker boy terrorist living rent-free inside their skull.
Yeah.
Talk about a bad apartment situation.
Yeah, exactly.
But V isn't just some random merc. When people talk about the most dangerous legends Night City has ever produced, three names always enter the conversation. Morgan Blackhand, Adam Smasher, and V.
Yep.
Now, I saw a comment from a Choom that got me thinking. They said, V and Morgan Blackhand are basically top of the verse. No shame losing to either of them. V's the peak of human will with two minds and a limitless body, and Morgan is the peak of human skill that still manages to outdo every merc who has been up against him, including Adam Smasher. Then another Choom replied, I kind of see V, Blackhand, and Smasher as essentially Night City's Triforce, Smasher being the Triforce of power, Blackhand the Triforce of wisdom, and V the Triforce of Courage. Smasher can't beat Blackhand nor V. V is beyond courageous to a point of delusion, taking unheard of gigs and missions like soloing Arasaka Tower. Pure courage and self-belief. While Blackhand will beat you on sheer finesse, being so tactical and calculating, Smasher is like Ganondorf. Now hold on a second, Chooms. That's actually a pretty Nova comparison. Because remember when we talked about Zelda? The parallels are sitting right there. Night City is basically its own twisted version of Hyrule. You've got your three legends at the top, your three forces, your Triforce, Atom Smasher, the monster, the unstoppable weapon, pure power, Morgan Blackhand, the master, the strategist, the guy who proves skill beats brute force, and V, the player character, the wild card, the one who keeps pushing forward when every logical person would have already hit the eject button, just like Link, the hero who keeps walking into impossible situations because he believes he can win. And then there's Johnny, the rebel, the guy who looked at the system and said, forget playing by the rules, which brings us right back to Michael Jackson. Hell, on a side note, ain't it kind of funny how I just went completely off track there?
Yeah.
Started with one conversation, ended up somewhere else entirely. Full-on Zelda and shit. Huh. I got a habit of doing that, don't I? Guess that's just how we roll around here.
It's all good. It's all good.
Now, Jackson, he could have gone full Johnny Silverhand. He had the resources, he had the fame, he had the influence, he had every reason to wage war against the corporation, but instead, he chose creation. He put the frustration into the music. He put the pain into the art. He kept creating. And that's something people underestimate. Destroying something is easy. Building something, that's the hard part. Anybody.
You just dropped a knowledge bomb right there. You know, destroying is easy, but building is like really challenging as well, because especially as content creators and creative people too, when it comes to it, that just building something from the ground up, and especially with your own creativity, it's just, you know, sometimes people will take that for granted, but when it comes to just destroying things too, I know it's easier for people to do that. And especially nowadays on social media, you see like all these videos of people putting each other down and going viral for doing all sorts of stuff too when it comes to it that. And people have been doing that for quite some time too, for a couple of decades. I could be totally wrong about that. But, you know, at the same time, it's just like creating something too when it comes to with that. And even just from a healthy, especially creating something in a healthy and productive way too, that's something entirely different too when it comes to it that. I can relate to that. So yeah, well said there, Canonical V. Yeah, well said. That's a bar right there. That's a bar.
Everybody can burn down a building. Not everybody can build a skyscraper. Now, unfortunately, Chooms, there's another cyberpunk lesson here. The corporation usually wins. That's the ugly reality. One person can be brilliant. One person can change the world. But corporations, they've got endless money, endless lawyers, endless time. That's a tough boss fight. And it ain't just fiction. Look around. Corporations today keep moving toward more control over what people buy, what they own, and even what they're allowed to access. Take this whole shift toward digital-only gaming. That's got a whole lot of...
Oh, man. He said it, not me. He said that, not me. I'm just going to leave it at that. Yeah, and especially when it comes to... And it kind of relates to the Michael Jackson and it became Johnny Silverhand when it comes to with him and Sony. I mean, with the, you know, just with the physical media situation too, when it comes to it, that just how like, yeah, it's, you know, what Canonical V said too was really spot on. He said it, not me. I'm not trying to put the blame on him or anything like that. I'm just really just saying, give him credit where credit's due when it comes to with his video. And yeah, well said there. Couldn't have said it better myself, honestly. Yeah.
Folks fired up, and honestly, I get it. Because there's a mighty big difference between owning a game and simply paying for a license to play one. Back in the day, you'd buy a physical copy. It sat on your shelf. You could pop it in years later, lend it to a buddy, sell it, or keep it forever.
Exactly, and that's the beautiful thing about owning physical gaming media when it comes to, if like I was talking about in the video that I've done like some few weeks ago, when it comes to with that, it's just really owning that kind of like physical media. Like you have like a physical game, whether it be from PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, and even 5, and then you buy it with your own hard-earned money, then you can really just pop in the disc, you could play it, then you could, if you have like a friend, or if you have a girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, acquaintance, family, relative, whoever who wants to just really, borrow that game, you can really just do that because you really own that physical copy of the game too when it comes to with that. And now, like, when the next few years in 2028, it's going to be a really different kind of environment, and that culturally too. When it comes to with that, I'm just going to keep it a buck here, just really talking about this. It's going to be different, and it's going to be honestly scary too. Just from me, being like a gamer myself for 3 decades so far as well. And yeah, it's going to be a totally different environment when it comes to the next few years. It's, I don't know how people are going to adjust and adapt and really just discern and to really just reflect on that too. It's I don't know, I don't want to predict the future or anything. I'm just really just sharing from my own perspective and all that, just really being sympathetic about it. But for those who still have like physical gaming media, when it comes to with any physical copies you have, just really cherishing that, because that's culture right there, that's history, and you have a piece of history when it comes to with what game you have too, whether it be from PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 5 as well, or even from PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Or even just not just PlayStation, but also it could be like Xbox, or it could be Nintendo, or even PC too when it comes to with that. So yeah, well, it's even just like mobile handheld games too, Game Boy and all that too when it comes to with that. So I'm just gonna say mobile, PC, and game consoles when it comes to with that. But yeah.
It was yours. Now, your entire library lives behind an account, behind somebody else's servers, behind terms and conditions you didn't write. If that account gets suspended, if a game loses support, if the servers ever go dark, or if a license disappears, well, what exactly do you still own? That's the question folks are asking. Because when everything you paid for only exists as long as someone else lets you access it, it starts feeling less like ownership and more like a long-term rental into the digital graveyard, Choom. And that's when people start looking around and saying, man, this is starting to feel a little too much like Night City. Now, before anybody gets mad at me, I'm literally sitting here with a Sony console, too. This ain't me declaring war on PlayStation, and I sure ain't saying every corpo's fixin' to shove a chip in your brain. Relax. But when people talk about companies that give off Arasaka vibes, Sony is definitely one that gets brought into that conversation.
Yeah.
Funny how life imitates art, ain't it? Anyway,
yeah, exactly.
That's what makes Michael Jackson's story so interesting. He had every reason to become Johnny Silverhand, but he didn't. He didn't try to burn everything down. He created.
Yeah.
He left behind something bigger than any corporation. Because maybe the strongest rebellion isn't destroying the machine. Maybe it's creating something the machine can never erase.
Exactly.
And that's a lesson even Night City could learn.
Yeah.
Now, what do you chooms think? Was Michael Jackson the closest thing we ever had to a real-world rocker boy legend? Could he have become Johnny Silverhand? Or was choosing art over revenge the reason his legacy survived? Either way, the man left a mark. And in a world where everybody wants to be remembered, that's the rarest chrome of them all. Jakey out.
That's a shout out to Canonical V when it comes to with this video, and especially when it comes to just by answering that question too, and just like, you know, the Michael Jackson's legacy that he left behind when it comes to this art and creativity and how he made that kind of impact, and especially how people are still influenced about, well, are still influenced by him till today, and it's just that alone says a lot than anything else. And I'll just say that too, because it has a worldwide kind of impact on it too, and especially when it comes to with just, you know, like how like certain companies are very similar to artists like Arasaka in the game, like how art imitates life and all that. And that's the craziest stuff too when it comes to it, that, and it's just, yeah, it's really fucking scary, to be honest with you too, when it comes to it, that, especially how things are nowadays too in the gaming community and gaming culture and all that, and today's society as well. And it's just, yeah, it's some really crazy shit. I just want to encourage people to really just be careful out there when it comes to especially in the gaming communities too, when it comes to it, that what's happening right now, especially what Canonical V is talking about in this video. Just really being careful, and at the same time too, just really sticking together as a community, or as a gaming community when it comes to with that. For those who love physical gaming media, for those who still own their physical gaming copies and all that, and for those who love to really just to honor that and to embody that with their body, with their energy, their emotions, with their, you know, spirituality and all that too when it comes to it. That, so yeah, shout out to Canonical V when it comes to this video. If you guys want to see the original video, it'll be linked in the description below. If you guys want to check out his channel, it'll be linked in the title of this video too when it comes to it, that. And for those who like my reaction when it comes to this video, if you guys want to share your feelings and opinions and thoughts about this video too when it comes to it, that, you're more than welcome to do so. I do these videos, especially on this gaming channel too, the holistic gaming, just for the fun of it too. Just because I love gaming, I'm an old school gamer. You know, my first system was Sega Genesis, and my latest one is the PS5. And, you know, so when it comes to it, that honestly, I've been a Sega fan, and then became a PlayStation fan for a very, very long time. And also, I've been a fan of Nintendo too when it comes to it, having a Game Boy, having a, what was it? The Nintendo Wii, and then the Nintendo Switch when it comes to it, that. And all that too. So I've been mostly a console or mobile gamer all my life, and you know, sometimes PC, nothing against PC, it just wasn't my thing to, when it comes to my PC, I just like to watch videos, do my work and all that, but that's me though, you know. So shout out to all the PC gamers, mobile gamers, console gamers too, who are watching this video, and for those who are subscribed to my channel as well. And if you guys want to see more videos like this and other gaming entertainment as well, when it comes to the, you know, videos that I post and my podcast that I do as well, you're more than welcome to subscribe to this channel as well. So I thank you for watching. Much love. Take care. You know, play your favorite video games, especially the ones that you own a physical copy with as well. When it comes to just really saying that. And you guys take care. Much love and many blessings.